Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable
Welcome back to ATN Business. Equity investors lost 437 billion naira on Monday on the back of sell-offs in some stocks. The all-share index and the market capitalization of the Nigerian exchange shared 0.73% and 0.76% to close at 103.659.81 points and 56.72 trillion naira respectively. Market breadth, which is the measure of investor sentiment, was mixed as reflected in 28 losers and 28 gainers at the close of trading. The gainers were led by Cadbury, Cornerstone Insurance, Maya PLC, Dar Communications, and May & Baker, which gained 10% each to close at 22 naira, 2 naira 9 kobo, 4 naira 73 kobo, 0 naira 77 kobo, and 6 naira 96 kobo. On the losers table were Abbey Mortgage Bank, which lost 9.70% to close at 2 naira 70 kobo. Livestock dipped by 9.66% to close trading at 1 naira 87 kobo. Fidelity Bank lost 9.38% to close at 11 naira 60 kobo. Jais Bank stock depreciated by 7.93% to close at 2 naira 67 kobo, and MTN Nigeria lost 5.52% to close the day's trading at 274 naira per unit. The volume and value drivers of the day's market trend were led by stocks of FBN Holdings, Nigerian Breweries, and Transcorp PLC. FBNH emerged as the most traded security in terms of volume and value, with 3.30 million units worth 8.95 billion naira in 767 deals. Traded volume for the day was lower at 841.55 million units compared to the previous day's volume of 943.51 million units. The units were valued at 19.32 billion naira and traded in 13,674 deals. The number of stocks traded stood at 124 at the close of trade. Performance across the sector of fronts indicated a mixed bag. The banking and consumer goods indexes declined by 2.30% and 0.03% respectively, while the insurance and industrial indexes increased by 2.67% and 0.01%, and the oil and gas sector stayed flat. On the outlook for the weeks, analysts at Kara Research anticipated a positive trend in the market. However, we foresee a mixed trend with a possibility of profit taking as investors are likely to continue sectoral rotation, capitalizing on stocks that experience pullbacks to position themselves strategically. This rotation strategy is expected to create further buying opportunities, especially in anticipation of more earnings releases in the corporate reporting season, the weekly report said.
And on the economy, exchange rate of Naira to dollar declines by 36%. The exchange rate of the Naira to the dollar has declined by 36% this year alone, on a further 90% since September 2023. Yet the free fall in the worst performing currency in 2024 has not affected retail petrol prices. Nigeria ended its popular but costly petrol subsidy practice on May 29, 2023, when newly elected President Bola Tinubu scrapped the policy in his inaugural address to the country of 200 million. The reform paved the way for a tripling in petrol prices. Prices have, however, barely brought months as Tinubu blocked further increases to ease severe cost of living prices on Nigerians and reverse track action. Subsidy is back, one was the other, a source familiar with the matter said. The movement in the exchange rate alone makes the current pump price untenable, the sources said. While the average petrol price have moved by only 7% since September, the Naira has shared 90% of its value in that period when the current pricing template was structured. The exchange rate was $700 per dollar. The rate has now moved by over 100% to 1,461 per dollar as of Friday, February 2nd. Yet the petrol price has barely changed. The average price paid for petrol across Nigeria was 67.86 naira in December 2023, according to the latest data from the National Bureau of Statistics. Average petrol price in Nigeria has only increased by 7% since September. The World Bank has said since last December that Nigeria has a partial subsidy in place and that petrol should be priced at $7.50 per litre at the pumps. It does seem like petrol prices are not fully adjusted to market conditions, so that hints at the partial return of the subsidy. If we estimate what is the cost reflective of retail PMS price of the would-be and assuming that importation is done at the official FS rate, Alex Sinet, the bank's lead economist for Nigeria, said. Of course, the liberalization is happening when the parallel rate, which is the main supplier, the price will even be higher. Sinet said the Naira free fall has made the subsidies burden bigger and is said to eat into the money shared by the three tiers of government, state OFM, NNPCL already resumed its role as the sole importer of petrol in Nigeria since October after marketers down tools after higher oil prices and Naira depreciation jacked up the landing cost of the product.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has commenced the enforcement of the ban on the importation, manufacture, distribution, sale, and use of alcoholic beverages in sachets, PET and glass bottles of 200 milliliter and below. The Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeye, stated this on Monday at a press conference in Abuja. As of January 31st, 2024, there is no alcoholic beverage in these categories that are registered by NAFDAC. I also want to inform you that the agency has started enforcement actions to enforce the implementation of this policy. The window period given to manufacturers by NAFDAC to sell of all alcoholic drinks in this category elapsed on January 31st, 2024. To this end, on the first day after the elapse of the window period, the agency commenced nationwide enforcement actions on February 1, 2024 to enforce the implementation of the new policy, she said. She added that during enforcement actions, it was discovered that some manufacturers of the banned products were still producing the products and still had stacks of both finished products and packaging materials for the products in their possession. The situation is, of course, not acceptable, and the agency views this as flagrant disobedience to the laws of Nigeria. NAFDAC views this matter seriously and will engage all statutory means, which may include prosecution, to deal with the matter. And I use this medium to ask all holders of alcohol in sachet, PET and glass bottles, empty sachet, PET bottles and empty glass bottles, and other packaging materials of these banned products to immediately report to the Investigation and Enforcement Directorate of the NAFDAC for handover of same to NAFDAC for destruction to prevent sterner measures, including prosecution, she declared.
And in Lagos State, federal government seeks 146 billion naira for marina shoreline repairs. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, has disclosed that 146 billion naira is required for the repairs of marina shorelines. He said recently during a joint inspection of the lagoon section of the Third Mainland, Qatar and Eco bridges with the Minister of Finance and the Economy, Wale Edu. The minister was concerned about the degradation of the marina shoreline, saying it poses a threat to the pillars of the Lagos Blue Rail Line. Reacting on Atlantic Television Business Live, an economic expert, Siva Upola Charles, lauded the development as he said it will also revamp the Nigeria economy.
For me, the blue economy is an area that the Nigeria need to explore.
Okay.
Today we have economies about $475 billion.
Okay.
Now, if we properly develop and harness the blue economy, we can comfortably add another $500 billion to our economy.
Wow.
Which we are not really exploring. I mean, so talking about, repair of these marine facilities and assets is something that is very good. But how much is the money? Because we're talking about 146 billion naira, not dollars. So it's not much of a money. But I want to see whether it can explore partnership with the private sector. Okay. Because I think private sector partnership will be very important for this development. Okay. So let them not look at government money. Right now, the economy is not in good shape. So it's important for the government to look at whether we can bring in private players. And that's how the economy grows. Look at India, look at China. What are the things that are propelling the growth of those economies? It's because they brought in a lot of private sector participation into the economy. And areas like this, where you can do a lot of things, in the economy, especially the, blue economy. Yeah. So I think it's important for the government to look at.
He also emphasized on the need for private sector participation and partnership for sustainable project planning and accountability.
Okay. That time, Chinese economy was $500 billion. $500 billion. That's something like Nigerian economy in 1998. Now the open companies from Europe, from America started coming to them. No, what they do is an SPV. So what we have is that 60% of these new opportunities are given to outsiders. So you have an SPV, 40% from Chinese. Okay. Now what are they trying to do? They are trying to lure people there to invest and then take advantage of their presence to increase the capacity of the economy. Okay. Because we don't have the, first of all, in Nigeria, we have a problem in terms of the capacity of the economy to roll out funds. The banks themselves are all running after government juicy transaction, bread and butter transaction. They don't really have the capacity. The capital accumulation is weak. Okay.
The House of Representatives on Tuesday announced the commencement of the second edition of its sectoral debates dialogue as part of its periodic policy brief series. This was contained in a statement issued on Monday night by House spokesman Akin Rotimi. According to the statement, the program has been built for the sector and is scheduled to feature key stakeholders in the sector such as the Minister of Finance, Minister of Budget and Planning, Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and the Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue. The Clerk of the House of Representatives, Yahaya Danzaria, confirmed this on Monday in a communication titled Notice of Sectoral Debates with Financial Sector Stakeholders. Upon resumption of plenary for the year, Tajuddin had noted that the state of the economy was of grave concern to the House, stressing that the country was grappling with numerous hurdles impeding our growth trajectory. I am pleased to announce that the House sectorial briefs with MDAs will resume immediately. Accordingly, we shall engage with MDAs and principal actors in the finance sector on Tuesday, 6th February 2024. This engagement will assess the nation's readiness to mobilize the necessary financial resources for implementing the budget, the Speaker had said.
And of course, now we'll go to food security. The governors of Kwara, Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, Taraba, Abu Kefas, Ondo, Loki Aiyedatiwa, and Kogi Ahmed Ododo on Monday stormed the Abuja headquarters of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security to push for increased crop production to ensure food security in Nigeria. This is aimed at tackling food inflation and food shortage. Abdulaziz, who doubles as the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, told the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, that adequate concentration should be given to food security, but stressed that Nigerian food remained the cheapest in West Africa. On Monday, media reported that youth and women of Niger State took to the street of Minna, protesting over what they call the biting hardship and the rising cost of food and harsh living conditions in Nigeria. The report stated that the protest started when a group of women blocked Minna Bida Road at the popular Pakungu roundabout to lament what at the time the suffering under the Bola Tinubu government. They were later joined by men and youth stopping vehicles from moving. Speaking on behalf of the governors, Abdulrazak stated that the Anchor Borrowers program that was previously implemented by the Central Bank of Nigeria under its former boss, Godwin Emefiele, did not achieve much. He, however, called on the Agri Minister to work hard to meet the food target of government, as this was vital for the masses, adding that state governors will work with the ministry.
Bank Directors Association of Nigeria says it is supportive of a directive by the Central Bank of Nigeria asking commercial banks to stop hoarding foreign currencies. The CBN had last week expressed concerns over the escalating foreign currency exposure of banks through their net open positions. Consequently, it issued a circular titled Harmonization of Reporting Requirements for Foreign Currency Exposures of Banks, directing lenders to sell all excess dollar stocks to their customers. In the circular, the CBN stipulated that the NOP limit for overall foreign currency assets and liabilities should not exceed 20% short or 4% long of shareholders' funds. Reacting on Monday, BDAN said it was fully aware of the CBN circulars, which it said were aimed at fortifying the nation's financial system. The association wholeheartedly supports these comprehensive measures, which underscore the commitment of the CBN to ensuring the stability and resilience of the banking sector. The association said in a statement by its chairman, Board of Directors, Mustafa Chike Obi, on CBN directive, dollar supply rose by 180% to $440 million at the official foreign exchange markets.
All right, of course, and this is end of our business news for today. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, our guests will be joining us virtually. Please don't go away.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis,
Every day, our lives are changed by history,
We are one people, all of us.
leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. You human trafficker. You're a human trafficker.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
ATN Business live on Atn Television Network. My co-host is still here, and of course, joining us virtually now, all the way from Lagos, is our guest for today, Olayemi Fentoluwa, who is a business consultant and an entrepreneur. Olayemi, can we like to welcome you? Good afternoon and welcome to ATN Business Live.
Good afternoon, ATN Business Live.
All right, thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well done for the...
All right.
It's nice. It's a wonderful thing to be online with you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, quickly now, food prices may drop in months as about 3,000 hectares of farmland have been put into cultivation with 2024 dry season farming. Okay. Now, farmers and agro dealers are optimistic that the cost of food items could drop in the coming months following the cultivation of about 3,000 hectares of farmland across the country with the support of the federal government, a report on the National Agricultural Growth Scheme, an agro pocket project. Now, looking at this, and I know you're a business entrepreneur, that you have a lot of your hands into so many businesses. What do you make of this particular action and a project by the federal government?
Okay. Can I hear the question?
I said, what do you make of this? Yeah, this particular one, farmers to cultivate about 3,000 hectares of farmland, and with this, we're hoping that food production will increase and cost of food items may come down. So, what do you make of this particular project?
The cost of the food capacity, the available food production will actually increase, but the increase of that food, the volume of food produced does not interpret to cost reduction. That does not mean the cost of food can reduce, because the cost of the operational cost to produce those food items are not reducing. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. I do.
To incur more cost. Yes, the government can give money. They can get an influx of money into the agricultural sector. They can give loans. They can do farms and make farmers look at, oh, there's money to cultivate now. But is that using the cost of farming, the cost of fuel, the cost of purchases, all the farm inputs, are they reducing? Are they being subsidized? So only when the cost of production is reduced that we can expect that the cost of food items will reduce.
So what you're saying now is that yes, there may be increase in production of food items, but you are not sure if that will reduce the cost of the food items when produced. Is that what you're saying?
Very sure it's going to. Even if it's going to be slight reduction. Look at the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's government with the anchor borrowers scheme. In the anchor borrower scheme, funds were released to farmers, funds to cultivate our indigenous rice in Nigeria. And all of us were expecting that since farmers had money to cultivate, to produce rice now, the cost of rice will come down. Did it? It never. Instead of that, we have the cost of rice increasing and increasing today. So it is not about funding. It's good to fund farming activities. It's good to put money there, but we have to look at the cost of farming. The cost of you buying fuel to go to the farm, the cost of everything you need to do on the farm to ensure that whatever you are planting grows and yield. Those are those costs. Those are the costs that's making the cost of food to rise. So it's not about the cultivated 23,000 hectares. At what cost? On the long run, by the time we divide the yield, when the fund are put into it, it's already the same thing. We'll still be buying the same thing. We still buy food. So I feel that the government should look at reducing cost of farming for our farmers, cost of fuel, cost of mechanical input, cost of everything. When the operational cost of any activity is lower, then you can expect that at the buy point, it will be cheaper. But if that is not looked at, we might just still be dancing the same old song. Thank you.
Okay. We have, all agreed that reducing the weight of the economy on oil and gas and then delving into the agricultural sector will help us. But obviously, not just by, giving farmers farmlands to farm on. What other ways do you think the government can actually, secure food when it comes to Nigeria?
Another way the government can do it, personally I've done some research, and from my own research, I think I wrote some of our people in Nigeria, on former presidents. The government themselves should go into farming. Instead of releasing funds to individual farmers, the federal government should engage in farming activities because they have the machinery. They have the machineries to give us mechanical farming system. They can produce in 100,000 multiplied by what individual farmers can produce. Now they will have, and this will create jobs. It will create more jobs, create more opportunities. A lot of things will come in. It will reduce the cost of food items and it will increase our exports. You can imagine when a government is occupying 500,000 of land. If we have arable land over, Kogi State alone, Niger State has the largest arable land in Nigeria. They can cultivate as a state government. They can produce more than 100% of whatever any or combined farmers in the state are producing. That time we will have surplus. The cost of production will be lower. Every of their workers, they can engage their workers that already paid salary from the state or from the federal government. So the cost, the cost of managing those farms will reduce. We have some of these caterpillars, these mechanical instruments or whatever equipment that are nothing value in most of these government establishments. They are never used. When the government, either federal, state, and local government levels, they go out to farm. That is when we will have an edge. We will have a difference. We'll be able to see that yes, the cost of food is reducing because the cost that the government will be putting in will be less than what average farmer is putting in.
Well, I think I want to agree. Okay, I think I want to agree. I want to agree with you what you're saying. It's obvious you understand what we are really discussing, and I'm glad because if you look at what you're saying, Kogi State, Niger State, Jigawa State, all the states in the north central, and even the in the east, we have arable lands that are lying there fallow. My concern is that we have Ministry of Agriculture in all the states. What exactly are they doing? What exactly is their function? And you have different departments. You have the mechanical department, you have the extension, you have the agricultural extension, you have the rectors, you have people who even study in the university, agricultural economics, agricultural extension, crop production, and all of that. How do we harness all of these things to get into this food production in Nigeria?
Now, the government has to come with a policy demanding that all these sectors, like you have mentioned, Ministry of Agri and all of them, give them a target of what they should supply to the national economy. It is not, the situation must be like before. People just go to the offices and collect salary, carry paper up and down. Then you have all the mechanical, practical aspect of it. Everything is doing and just lying back. With all our arable land, what are the Ministry of Education able to produce with all the equipment available for us? It is not for agriculture extension. I've been a farmer during the anchor borrowers. We send agriculture extension to the farms to check. These people come to give lecture to individual farmers that have different plans about the money to loan them. Why don't they personally, as states, begin own state farms, local government farms, produce enough at a reduced cost. There will be no cash or no loan supply, only equipment, the seed, and every capital asset they need. When they are giving all these capital assets, they use it to cultivate, to arrow, at no cost to anybody other than the government. Sorry, the equipment are there. Then at the end of the day, you will see an effect of bigger what we've ever seen. It will create more jobs, it will give us more opportunities for export, we will earn more revenue rather than laboring these farmers, you know, and giving them on, expecting them to some things around on 323,000 hectares. 323,000 hectares or 500,000 hectares is maybe when a state government venture into it can do over 1 million hectares. What are our people, what are they doing in the Ministry of Agriculture? When sitting down there, not making use of the opportunities they have to produce food for the nation. So me, I am saying, I don't really, because of the experience I've had with all these alcohol borrowers and the borrowing farmers with me, it will not really have significant impact. The cost of food, unless the government decide to launch into the arable land and begin to cultivate our land and produce food.
All right. Thank you very much for that fantastic discussion on the issue of farming in Nigeria. Where Chie, you can hear that very extensive discussion that Ms. Olayemi has given to us. She has said, but even a farmer doing the Anchors Borrowers this thing, where people just collect money, and instead of them to use the money to farm, they are not there.
For something else.
All right, let's move on to the next, the second story now.
The Federation of Nigeria Pharmaceutical Industry Association is proposing the creation of 600 billion naira Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Development Fund at 5% interest over a minimum of 7 to 10 year tenure. In a statement on Monday, the group made the call during a forum hosted by FENPIA in honor of the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pat. The group said the fund would support the local production of active pharmaceutical ingredients, vaccines, critical supply chain interventions, and research and development, among others. Speaking during the event, the president of FENPIA, Dr. Oke Akpa, enumerated the various factors that inhibit the growth of pharmaceutical industry in Nigeria. Akpa explained that the fund would help strengthen the local pharmaceutical industry and reduce the high cost of drugs, making drugs available, accessible, and affordable to Nigerians.
All right, that's another story that we're looking at, Ms. Olayemi. Manufacturing, a group is proposing the creation of funds for pharmaceutical manufacturing development. As you all are aware, a lot of companies are leaving Nigeria. I'm not going to mention one particular one that is leaving, has been here for years, and they are leaving, of course, triggered the increase many of the price of drugs. But they are trying to propose, a fund to all companies so that we can create, support the local manufacturers for drugs in Nigeria. What do you make of this story? Do you think it's something that is achievable in Nigeria as a country?
It's achievable in Nigeria as a country, but on the long run, are we going to say that it has reduced the cost of It reduced the cost of drugs, and the cost of petrol, diesel that they will run is on the high side. If you research on the reason why this company left Nigeria, this pharmaceutical company, which is very sad, for some of us, it's a very, very sad event. It's not too good for us. Now, if those reasons were not dealt with, there's no amount you want to input into the economy to increase local production of the drugs. That will cause reduction in price. You see the same thing. The cost of oil, the high cost of oil is affecting everything. So by and large, we will have more job opportunities can come in, more job opportunities, then purchasing power, you can have more money to do whatever you want. But the value addition, how much are you earning? What is the capacity? What is the percentage of your earning? What can it solve? What's the problem it can solve? Is still based on the cost of production, the cost of product that affecting everything, the cost of fuel, the cost of equipment. All equipment we are going to use are going to be imported. You are going to be buying it at naira, dollar. No, it's a class-related economy. Whatever dollar is taking, that is what the naira will use to buy the equipment to affect our cost of production. Cost of diesel will affect our cost of production. Every input that we're going to be putting in the production cost is already affected by these two major things: dollar-naira exchange rate and the cost of fuel. So, thanks for them, the pharmaceutical manufacturing development. We were a some idea, but I'm looking at it. Is it possible that we reduce the cost of the drugs? I hope so, but I doubt if it will be very feasible. Based on the dollar-naira exchange, rate, and the cost of fuel. Government can afford to understand that the cost of fuel is the major factor driving everything we are doing in the country, and decide to start to revise our own rules, and it becomes cheaper for us. Then there are so many things that will be very easy. We have a lot of things that will come out easily.
All right.
Every investment you put in Nigeria, you will be happy that the return on investment is high.
Thank you so much.
Encouraging.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Olayemi Fentoluwa. Thank you so much for joining us on ATN Business Live on Atlantic Television to the network today. We appreciate your contribution, and we hope that we will still have you anytime we call upon you again. You'll be there to at least support this program. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you. All right. Well, that's our show for today. Chie, I'm sure you just want to give them some information before we go.
Yeah, you can catch up on all the conversation and news on our social media handles, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also download the app from the App Store, Atlantic Television Network, and right on your screen is our handles, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
All right. That's the most we can take today. ATN Business will come back again, same station, same time tomorrow. I am Treasure Timidari.
I am Chinyere Davis.